Rogue striker drone detected. Rogue defender drone detected. Agent down. Rogue assault turret detected. An agent needs assistance. An agent needs assistance.
What's up guys, Patrick Wolf here, welcome to another Division 2 build video. Today's video is going to be my best assault rifle build. This is the build that I use in the Dark Zone and in conflict every single day. It is my go-to and I absolutely destroy. It works extremely well. I will be streaming on YouTube possibly after this video goes live or tomorrow, so make sure you guys come and stop by and have a look and watch me use it. My previous stream I did actually use it quite a bit. All I did was I changed it up a bit. I changed the gloves. I now have two-piece Walker and Harris, and I found the perfect combination. Now, this is going to be a PC build. If you want to use this on console, you're going to have to really get your aim up because it's going to be difficult to use on console. But like I said, it is a PC build because we're going to be focusing on headshots for the assault rifle. So let's get straight into this. This is going to be more of a survivability DPS build. The highest amount of damage we can possibly get whilst being as tanky as we possibly can be. So I think that's pretty much the balance between the two. So let's go through the specialization. Firewall is really good right now. The main reason is because we get, well, to be honest, the armor break, the fiery response, which is really annoying. It's getting removed in TU11. You can use whatever you want. I just use this because it saves me sometimes from close range, especially when getting rushed by Lady Death players. So when they rush you, they actually can do a lot of damage, especially because Lady Death hasn't been nerfed yet. So this can save you in a lot of situations. You can use whatever specialization you want. It's up to you guys. Make sure assault rifle damage is on. So this is going to be the build. It's going to be a medium to long range assault rifle build focusing on headshots rather than crits. And now I'm going, well, critical hit damage to be precise. But what I'm going to do is go through the pieces, what brand sets I'm using and everything, all the attributes. Then we'll go over the explanation of why I use them. So we're going to be quite tanky. 1.5 million armor is a significant amount of armor. You can survive a lot of fights in the Dark Zone and in conflict because we don't want to be squishy, especially when you're playing solo. This will work in any kind of situation. And the best part of it is we still have over 100k base damage, max out crit chance and high headshot damage. So it's going to be very, very strong. You'll be surprised how much damage you can do with this build, as you saw from the gameplay. So the first thing we're going to go through is the weapon. Damage targets out of cover is a must-have. It's the best attribute for damage. That's why Fox's Prayer is also extremely good. Make sure you have this rolled on your assault rifle. This one's okay. It's not the best I've got, but it's okay. Well, the best FAL. Now the reason why we use an FAL, because of the accuracy, it's a lot better than some other rifles, assault rifles. You can hit your shots from longer ranges, and the tiny dot, when it bounces around, that's stability and accuracy. So we want to make sure that reticle stays as still as possible. Now, it's important to note that the more accuracy you have, the better and stability, but we're going to be having crit chance mods on the gun. So weapon handling is a combination of all of that. It's reload speed, swap speed, accuracy, and stability. So even 1 or 2 rolls of weapon handling can be a form of DPS because it'll allow you to hit your shots from longer ranges. Not even if you can control the recoil and stability, that the accuracy of that dot, it will mean it won't bounce around enough, which means you can have your reticle on the enemy's head and it still won't be hitting. But the more weapon handling you put, the more shots that will actually hit. So don't be fooled. Weapon handling is a form of damage in that sense. So in sync is obviously what we're going to be using. Pull out the shield. We have 30% weapon damage. It's a must-have, especially because it's multiplicative onto the concussion headshots, which I'm going to be explaining and showcasing later on in the video towards the end. So let's go and go to the next weapon, which is going to be this beautiful SMG, the Sig Mpx. I'll show how I mod all these weapons. To be honest, guys, I don't need to show you how I mod this. All you got to do is put your biggest magazine in the guns. Make sure your crit chance and your crit damage is balanced out. I didn't roll headshot damage on my assault rifle because I just wanted to get the max amount of crit. So I had to put max out crit chance on the weapon. So there, crit chance plus 20 rounds. Make sure to get the 7.62 magazine. Crit chance, crit chance, crit chance. Now it depends on what kind of mods you have and what kind of gear mods you have. So that's all situational. So when I modded this SMG, like I said, I just went for a crit chance. I probably could have crit damage. I don't really use it that often, but this is an amazing gun. The Sig Mpx is really good. Fast hands, which means we basically have no reload. It's really, really strong. Max out crit damage. This is going to be for when I get up into close engagements and I need to run around and strafe. Let's say someone is a high DPS player. It allows me to reload very quickly, get back on the damage. So it is a very good gun to use. The reason why I don't use Lady Death is I don't really enjoy it right now. It's a bit cheesy. It's way too strong. It's getting nerfed. So hopefully, you know, the 50% instead of 75% amplified damage is going to be better. We'll have to see. Pistol, use whatever you want. Now, it's important to note with headshot builds, with any kind of high damage builds, yeah, it's going to be a bit tricky to explain, but I'm going to try my best. So you don't want to use 3-piece provenance. Now, you mainly want to focus on base weapon damage, headshot damage, and things like assault rifle damage. All of the base variants that give you extra damage, like damage targets out of cover, is a must. So we're going to go through each individual piece and brand set. One-piece Fenris is extremely important because, like I said, it amplifies onto the concussion and the headshots that we're going to be carrying out, because the whole main focus is to bypass the shield of the enemy player and go straight for the head. So assault rifle damage, we've got armor, crit chance, and headshot damage. Very nice. We've got a 5.4% crit chance mod on the mask as well. The chest piece is going to be Walker and Harris. Weapon damage and damage to armor is extremely strong right now in PvP. I recommend you guys use it. Try it over even sacrificing 15% critical damage. Don't stack crit damage. Don't use Gruppo. Don't use 3-piece provenance. Go for this. This is better, I promise you, in the long run, and I'll explain why just now. So damage to armor is really good, especially, you know, if you want to use Lady Death with this as well. I guess you could. I mean, it gives you a lot more damage to armor, but I wouldn't recommend it. Hitting headshot with the SMG is not as easy as an assault rifle. So we've got crit damage, weapon handling. Like I said, it's not the perfect chest piece. I could probably roll weapon handling away, but for headshot damage. But here's the thing: weapon handling actually does allow me to hit my headshots from longer ranges, and I can feel the difference. I've tried it without weapon handling and with. I've actually made videos entirely focus on weapon handling, and I feel the difference, and it's really nice. 9.8% headshot damage mod over there with Unbreakable. Unbreakable is only about 45% or 40% armor back, but it's really strong because it gives you a second life. It's really, really nice, especially when we get put on fire by status effect, because we have no Hasbro, but I'll explain how we can mitigate that later. Booster Hive is a good way to run a secondary skill with your shield, so you can cleanse yourself from status effects. So the 2-piece walk-in house is a must-have in this build. So the holster, provenance. Now we've got 2 pieces because I needed that extra crit chance so I could stack more headshot damage. You don't have to. If you've got enough crit chance from your mods, you're lucky enough to have the good mods, you could, if you wanted to, run 1-piece Gruppo, or like I said before, don't use it, but you can if you really, really need to. You could even roll Fenris 2-piece. Like I said, my builds are for you guys to work upon and change and adapt them to suit your own playstyles. But I needed that 10% crit chance because critical hit damage is quite overrated, especially in a build like this, because the base headshots are going to outweigh the 40% chance of your bullets actually, 40% of your bullets not critting at all. So it's quite interesting. All right, backpack as well is going to be Providence. Very nice. I can't get a better one from like Fenris or things like that, so I'm struggling for RNG at the moment for some reason. I have been grinding. Maybe I need to grind some more. We'll have to see. Concussion is going to be with this, with crit damage, headshot damage, and weapon damage. Now, I haven't sacrificed all my crit because it's nice to crit, but remember, we are only going to be critting. We only have a 60% chance of actually a bullet critting, so a lot of the time we will not be critting at all. That's why the more headshot damage we stack, the better it's going to be for our headshots, because you're not going to be critting all the time, but it's nice to keep your crit damage up while you still can, because to be honest, there's not much else we could roll in that slot. Weapon handling is another viable option, maybe even hazard protection if you really want to, but I hope you guys get the gist of what I'm trying to do here, and I think I found the right balance between headshot damage and crit damage. You'll see it in the stats just now. So the gloves I've gone for Walk and Harris, my 2-piece, headshot damage, crit chance with armor. Like I said, we need to be quite tanky. This is my bad piece right now. I really need to get a better one, hopefully with headshot damage over there. But, you know, it's what I can get. I need to find one with what I need at the 3rd slot attribute, so I can roll the armor, because I really do feel the 1.5 mil armor is really good, especially because we do get extra skill tiers on our shields. Right, so let's go through the skills. Now you can use Booster Hive, which actually removes status effects. This is a good way of fighting against players with fire and foam and stuff like that. To be honest, the foam won't work as well, but when you're on fire, you drop this, it cleanses it straight away. It actually can be a lifesaver, so make sure you use that. I use the sticky bomb because it staggers people, because I'm sick to death of getting staggered by players in the dark zone and them killing me from that. So I just put it on, and I put you on the burn as well. And the firewall specialization increases the burn duration also, so it's going to last for quite a significant amount. And the stagger as well, it gives you an advantage. That's why I recommend using the sticky burn, the burn sticky bomb. It's really, really good. The shield, make sure you guys put health mods and damage bonus plus 5%. That's the max one, I think. Yes, it is. No, I think it goes up to like 5 point something or 6. Then put shield health. Also, when you're modding this, put burn, I think it's burn duration and blast radius. Very, very nice. I mean, blast radius is the only mod I actually have on that other slot, but that's what it is. So let's go over the stats and I can explain this build. So we have got 60 crit chance. It's very important to have maxed out crit chance. There's no point in having lots of crit damage if your crit chance is low, because remember, this means you're only critting 60% of your shots. Now this is where it gets interesting. My crit damage is decent, but for a build where, you know, I want to do a high damage, 78% is arguably not very strong. You could have upwards of 200% if you push your build, but here's where it gets interesting. Over about 2 or 3 mags, I end up doing more damage with the headshot damage than, you know, rather having headshot damage than crit damage, because remember, 40% of your bullets are not going to be critting at all. So it's better to have the base headshot damage values that are consistently always there every time you fire your gun, so you're not reliant on crits. And also with concussion, it gives us extra damage. So let's go through concussion now, because headshots increase total weapon damage by 10%. When we're hitting headshots, we don't need high amounts of crit damage. Now here's where it gets a bit tricky. I will show this in the range just now. If I change my headshot mod, my 9.8% headshot mod, to a 12% crit damage mod, my value is about 2,000 per bullet more on a crit. But my base value from just hitting the head without a crit is higher. So it outweighs it, because we're going to be probably not even critting half the time and doing more damage that way and gaining damage numbers when we don't crit. And then when we crit, it's just as good as the crit damage because of the multiplications of headshots on this build. So hopefully you guys understand. I'll give a little bit of demonstration in the base, well, in the firing range. But concussion is good because not only does it work with assault rifles and all weapons, but increases total weapon damage by 10%. That's also base. That is not just focusing on crit. That's just base damage. We don't want to use vigilance, because vigilance is more, you know, if you face tank someone, the chances are you'll lose vigilance entirely. And if you get a kill, it increases your total weapon damage by 15%, and that goes on top of the original bonus, which is really strong. This is amazing. It lasts for 10 seconds. It's an amazing talent, and I recommend using this if you're on PC. Obviously, it's so good. So now that I've kind of explained the build, let me go showcase this into the range. So what we're going to do is I'm going to just do a small demonstration. It can be quite complicated, and it's a bit annoying because for me it's hard to showcase, because I've done a lot of testing previously and this just feels a lot better. The problem is like I said with you guys, you need to understand, if you're going to be using a high rate of fire weapon, you're going to have a better chance of critting because you're going to be shooting more bullets. So you're probably better off stacking crit damage on top of the concussion that we already have. But because we're using an AR with a lower fire rate, it's more beneficial per magazine to actually stack headshot damage and base weapon damage, damage to armor for example, than just going full on crit damage. Now that is also situational. If we crit in a magazine, let's say our mag crits most of the time, then we will be doing more damage with extra crit damage. But if we don't crit, which happens to me a lot, I don't know if you guys know this, but in PvP, the modifier takes away your crit chance. That's what it feels like. And I feel like I hit way harder when I stack my base weapon, armor damage, and my headshot damage rather than just going into crit damage, which I have been doing. I'm guilty of doing that for the last few months, to be honest. So that's just from my findings. So what we're going to do is just quickly do a simple test. I've got headshot damage 9.8%, which is almost maxed out. So if you have a look at this, it's 370. with the buff, it's 413k. Okay, 413 and 306. See, I'm critting a lot there. 413 and 306. We're going to change this to a crit damage mod, which is almost the same. So 413, 306. Let's just kill this NPC. So that's 416, but 292. So the crit is higher, but the base is way less than what the normal one was. So as you guys can see, our base normal damage is going to outweigh the chances of us actually critting. So pretty much what I'm trying to get at here, guys, is that having crit damage and headshot damage, base weapon damage and damage to armor is all beneficial. Ideally, in this build, what we would want to go for is headshot damage and critical hit damage. Make sure your crit chance is at max. Try and get your crit damage as high as you possibly can, but also not sacrificing having headshot damage on each roll. As you can see, I have balanced it out due to the fact that, you know, if you are critting often, you're not wasting too much of the crit. You have got a decent amount of crit damage, but the whole point of this build is headshots. And when you do hit headshots, because our headshot base damage is higher than crit damage, our bullets are going to be doing consistent damage, and then when we actually do crit, that critical hit damage does amplify that and make it a much higher value, which is really, really nice. So I hope you guys did understand this video, and let me know in the comments if you have anything to say, if you want any questions. And with that being said, please leave a like, subscribe, and I'll be seeing everybody in the next video. Peace out, agents.